Good morning. I'm coming to find y'all. Who is up and around on a Sunday morning? Here we are. Good morning, good morning. I'm not quite sure how I did the sparkliness on here. Look at the fire sparkling. I don't know how it's doing it. Hey, Taylor. Yay, I'm happy you were on too. Hi, Jennifer. Hello, hello. Good morning, good morning. So this is my Sunday tribe, huh? My Sunday morning peeps. Okay, I forgot to put a title on this, so I'm putting in a title really quick. This is what I'm talking to you guys about today. I was sitting here yesterday I did like a 15-hour straight day. I haven't done that in so long. Like we moved to Florida and like it's just been crazy. And I haven't done, good morning, Janet. Good morning, Julia. Hi guys. Yay, I'm so happy you're here. Thanks for saying hi. Yesterday I did 15-hour like power sessions, just looking at my entire business and like everything that I have to learn. And like, it's been so weird. I've been having these like flashbacks of when my business started. For whatever reason, my brain's just going there. Oh, not for whatever reason, because I'm doing the Happy and Wealthy group right now, which is 30 days of really, I sat down for like 3 hours and I just tracked everything that I did from the beginning of my business. And so this morning, what I was thinking about was, let me put this title in. Building your business from the ground up. That's funny that I forgot to put a title on. Happy St. Patrick's Day. That's right, it is St. Patrick's Day. I totally forgot. So this is the thing that I was thinking about this morning. I had this question like, what makes my company the best? What makes my product the best? What makes me the best for my people? Because that really matters to me, right? Like when I'm 95 looking back at my life, this is like a question I'm forever asking myself. When I'm 95 looking back at my life, what will have mattered to me, right? That my children felt loved, the people around me felt loved, that I created an impact, and that I truly actually used all the gifts that I have, my wisdom, my intelligence, my ability to go 15 hours straight, like all the skills and gifts that I have, that I really used it to make a difference in this world, like a real difference, right? And so the way I feel called to make a difference is to help other people to learn their worth and to really show up for themselves and live their purpose. And it tends to be a lot of coaches building their business, entrepreneurs building their business, utilizing this online platform. And really it's a couple different things. It's the mindset and knowing, like, first you have to be committed. Look, if you're not committed to this field and to your growth and to your coaching and to what you feel called to do, and most people, it's very rare. Y'all know that, we've heard these statistics a million times, but 1% of people will hit 7 figures and only 10% will hit 6 figures in this field. And honestly, if I could say in one sentence what I feel called to do is to change those statistics. I feel called to change, especially with women, like training and teaching women how to make money differently. If you think about just the centuries that have passed and all the different places in the world, I'm not I'm not like an expert knowledgeable about this kind of stuff on any level, but I have an awareness and a wisdom that women have been suppressed massively throughout time and culture. And like here we are participating in the greatest era ever for women. I mean, it's just incredible. So being somebody who can influence or participate in teaching women how to make money, become wealthy, believe in themselves, and then truly give their gifts to the world for that domino effect to happen. Good morning, Laura. It just makes me want to cry even thinking. Really, can we just really think about that for a second? Teaching poor and middle class people, especially women, how to bring their purpose to life, how to truly heal the world and bring their gifts to the world, and then crush life and make tons of money and learn how to make money in a different way and have true freedom, be able to travel the world. And by the way, even just helping people learn how to travel the world, do you know how much you change when you travel? Like so much, like the wisdom and the experience and the knowledge that you have when you're well-traveled is a big deal. I can tell the difference, not that it's good or bad, because some people just have no longing or desire to travel, and there's many other ways to become seasoned. It's not required at all. But I can tell the difference in a big way between people who are rather well-traveled and people who have never traveled or sort of just grew up in one place. It's very notable to me, right? It's like something that I can definitely notice. So I mean, being part of those things, like what is better than that? I can't even. The other day I was listening to someone tell a story about human trafficking and how they raised 300K for human trafficking to, get, and it was like 245 children that got to get released from human trafficking. And I'm just bawling and I'm just like, that God, that's what I want to do, God. Right? Like, this is what motivates me. My children leaving an impact and creating a change that really matters. So when I was asking myself, like, what makes my company relevant? What makes, you know what I mean? Like, what makes my products amazing and why me, right? And this is the one thing that I honed in on. I really, really, truly built my business from the ground up. That's not that common. To find someone who has built their business, mine's on track for the 1% this year. Within 3 years, it's on track for 7 figures. Second year, it hit, 500K, $500,000 in my second year. Building it from the ground up. Y'all get that 4 years ago I was on welfare? That I grew up very, very poor, had no knowledge of finances and no business knowledge. I've never, I've never worked in a company, anything like that. I was a waitress, I was a nanny, I was in the Marine Corps, I was a single mom for years. Like, there was nothing there. It was truly starting from the ground up. And not only did I build it from the ground up, but I did it in a massively accelerated pace. To be on track for 7 figures in 3 years is coming from the actual ground. Like, there was no email list, there was no networks, there was no nothing. I mean, it was straight from the ground up. And the wisdom, I am every day so grateful for the wisdom that I've gained from that journey and from that experience. I mean, that is crazy next level crap, right? So I could not be more grateful. And that is what makes my brand, that is what makes what I bring to the table so unique and so special, because I feel like there's a lot of, I've experienced working or learning from different sources and people where they did not actually know what it took to build it from the ground up. They only understood what it was like to transition out of the field that they were in, or they already had networks or emails, or they promoted other people first, or they did joint ventures, or whatever way they did it. And all of that's fine. I mean, the journey is the journey. It's going to look like whatever it looks like for people, right? So, I'm really curious how many of you feel like you're truly, when it comes to your entrepreneurship, right? And here's another thing. A lot of coaches don't identify as an entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur. If you're not identifying as an entrepreneur, it's because you just don't have the wisdom yet to understand that you're a business owner, right? Like, I'm running a global company. I am an entrepreneur. My heart is in coaching. My heart is in supporting my clients. My heart is in the relationships with my people, but I run a global business. I'm an entrepreneur, right? So you're an entrepreneur. If you're doing a business, right? Like, if we can't look at it like I'm just a coach, because you're not just a coach. You would be just a coach if I hired you to be a coach for my company. Now you're a coach. Right? You're not just a coach. You are an entrepreneur, and it's going to require you to identify with the parts of this journey that are going to bring you massive success, including making your business the priority, right? My recent shift has been going from my business being a company, right? Like, it was a business, and like, yes, I'm focused on my business. And then the next up level was like, this is a company. I'm incorporated. This is actually a company. And then learning the skills of running a company. So this morning, I realized that is the gift that I bring to the table. So I'm curious from everybody here. Yes, you are an entrepreneur. It is a really big deal to own that, for us to like really recognize, like, oh, do y'all know that, like, I have no idea on the statistics of this, so I'm just going to make up numbers, but like 10 years ago, something like that, right? Like 10 years ago, being an entrepreneur was like this very flaky thing. And to some people, it still is. Like, people in the corporate industry and stuff like that, being an entrepreneur could still be seen as, like, parents, think about parents with their children. Like, I want to be an entrepreneur. Like, yeah, okay, but you need to be a doctor, lawyer, etc., right? So but we look at what's happening with entrepreneurs here, right? Like, we look at like the crazy level of success and impact that we're able to have in the world, the influence that we're able to have in the world, and to create something new and to really make an impact on the people around us and the communities that end up circling around us and wanting to learn from our voice. This is the greatest time ever to be an entrepreneur. And there's a huge gap out there between people who are recognizing this and willing to do the work to do that, and actually being committed and stepping fully in, which is why there's such a few percentage of people who are, you know, reaching those top ranks. And it is what it is, right? So it's also a massive opportunity for you to be the person that steps into that. So as I was sitting here, I've recently been, this is complete honesty, the Happy and Wealthy group that I'm doing right now, which I think closes, I know somebody's going to ask, it closes in 3 days, I think, 3 or 2 days. I can't remember right now. 3 days. It closes in 3 days. Doors close in 3 days. Is literally the most valuable thing I've ever given ever. It's 30 days of, I sat down for 3 hours and looked at every single thing that I realized, I learned from all the mentors that I hired, that I shifted into, the mistakes that I made and what I learned from them. And I sat down and I wrote down 30 massive lessons that I've learned from hundreds of thousands of dollars investing in mentors, and that journey of from the ground up to 500K, like every single massive, like the biggest ahas and the biggest shifts and lessons that I learned. And I broke it down into a 30-day program, and I show up every single day and I'm teaching inside of that program. And I did it for 80% off. And I did that because I really just had this overwhelming sense of wanting to give back. That was it. I just wanted to give back. It just felt good and I wanted to. And I feel like I've maybe failed my audience a little bit in letting you understand how valuable this is. Like what you're actually getting in this. Like this could easily be a 10K program. If I have a coach who like is fully committed and she's in and she's ready to go to the next level, and she's actually like she's in the habit of, now I learned this and now I'm going to go implement this, and she listens to these 30 breakthroughs right here. Like, I mean, 10K, this is easy. Like you're talking about building a multi 6-figure business just from these concepts. Like this is well over 10K. For me to have done something like this, let's say 2 years ago, would have been worth 25K all day long. And I mean, like, I really mean it when I say it, because I would have taken these principles, these concepts that I learned, and I would have just kept reviewing them and just kept going back to them and just kept using them over and over and over in my life and implementing them until I had them and felt like I grasped them and they were part of who I was doing, right? Easily 100% worth 25K to me. And I say that as someone who does invest at that level, who does invest at those kind of things and gets clear, like these are the concepts and the things that I'm struggling with, or that's like, if I'm a person who's building my business from the ground up, it's not wise for me to go learn from someone who transitioned out of selling cars to building his coaching business, or selling t-shirts to, which is what I did that first mentor. That's how I got this wisdom, right? I hired a mentor who had selling t-shirts and like was kind of successful in the music industry, and then started the coaching business and was trying to teach us how to build the business from the ground up. And it was a disaster. Like it was bad. It was a lot of anxiety, a lot of upset people. It was really bad. And I realized like, oh, in order to teach people how to build the business from ground up, you kind of have to have built your business from the ground up. Like there's lots of awareness missing when you haven't actually done that. So I recognized there was tons of value and breaking that down for people and helping support them. So I don't know if my team is on right now. The link is mandyperry.com for the group. Honestly, this morning my intention was like, Mandy, you didn't do a good job letting them understand how valuable this program is, and like you don't want to miss this program, and you have it indefinitely. It's in the membership area. It's 30 lessons, nonstop lessons, and the vibe in the group, the girls showing up every single day, the guys too, every single day, the girls and the guys in there, they're putting in like, this is my ahas, these are my wins, this is what I'm breaking through, and I'm in there with you guys, checking in with everything you have going on, giving you feedback every single day on every lesson that we're doing for 30 days. This is a super high-end program. I've never done 30 days in a row for anyone ever, and I did this 80% off. I think it's 80% off. I didn't do the math. It's normal. I put it right. I was going to run it at 3333. I did actually run it for a week, and then I decided to do an 80% off gift for my tribe. So I really feel like if you're someone who's ready to hear these higher, and I'm doing both. I'm teaching you guys both the mindset shifts that I had and the breakthroughs, because one line, one sentence, like here's an example of a sentence that completely changed my life. Like there's no trading, right? There's no like blocks that are trading, and I'm not taking away from my kids to build my business and then taking away from my business to spend time with my kids, and taking away from relationships to give to my business, and taking away from my relationship to give. Like there's no trading. There's no trading of time, mental energy, and resource. And when I first heard that, I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course there is. There's a finite amount of time and a finite amount of my mental energy and my resources, and I'm either spending it on this or I'm spending it on this. And I had to dig into that concept, and I'm teaching this in the group, like, what is the concept behind that? And this completely revolutionized my entire life, all of my relationships, my business, my health. It revolutionized everything. And that was one concept, right? But these concepts tend to be things that completely counteract and contradict the excuses we give ourselves, the reasons why we feel guilty, the way we feel stuck when something feels impossible. And the truth is, when you're trying and you're not get results, you beat yourself up. I'm undisciplined, I'm lazy, blah, blah, blah. And that's not true. You're not undisciplined and you're not lazy. You're not broken. There's nothing friggin' wrong with you. But when you're showing up so relentlessly like that and you're not getting the results, you feel demotivated. Tell me if you've had that experience in the comments below. Like, I'm really working hard, but I'm not getting results. That could be whether it's with your children, whether it's with your spouse, whether it's in your business, whether it's directly just making sales, whether it's around knowing what it is and what your product is and what you do, knowing what your why is, like, why am I even doing this? Because if you don't have a compelling why, it's not going to pull you through all the like questions and the blocks that come up, right? So most of us have experienced and do experience, like, I beat myself up for being lazy or being undisciplined in a certain area. But the truth is, I've just repeatedly tried to do it so many times, not getting the result that I want. And as a human being, I'm not going to be super drawn to continue doing that. Like, that is normal. So then instead of us beating ourselves up, which is a very low level way of showing up, right? It's a very common, normal human way, but it's a very low level way. We can shift that into asking smarter questions like, okay, noted. I continue to do this thing over and over. I'm not getting the result I want. There's obviously a skill set I'm missing here. Either the way I'm thinking about it and the way I'm looking at it is completely off, right? It's coming from this, like, the way I think gets me this result. Someone who's wildly successful in this area thinks a completely different way. I'm going to learn and get close to the people who have success in this area so I can learn to think like they do, which is always my number one priority because that's 80% of success. So then 20%, I don't know if those facts are still true, but that's definitely what we've been taught. 20% of it is just knowing how to do it. So if you don't know how to do it, let's say you do enrollment calls with your clients, and you're just doing enrollment call after enrollment call after enrollment call, and nobody's booking and signing. You don't know how to close the deal. So instead of being like, oh, I need to figure out why I have this and why, no, like, maybe you just need to learn how to close the deal. Maybe you need to learn how to actually help somebody else break through their own bullshit and their limiting beliefs and the stories that they tell themselves, so they believe that they are worthy to show up and invest in themselves this way. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so we get to start asking ourselves way smarter questions, like, what skill is missing? Or can I be open? I'm open to something new. I'm open to trying on a new way of seeing this. I'm open to seeing this a different way, and have the dedication, the discipline, and the savviness to get in the arena with other people who are having success in that area, getting into groups, getting into coaching, reading books, going to events, those kind of things where we're pulling people who are successful at it into our world so we can start being exposed to these new ideas and these new things. So what I did in these groups, there was two main things that I focused on. It was like being happy, like actually enjoying this process and enjoying your life, and while you're gaining wealth. And so what were the how-tos and the mindsets that I needed in order to do those two things? It's hands down going to revolutionize everybody's life that's in the group. End of story. Their life is going to be changed. If anyone on here is in that group, go ahead and, put in the comments how you're feeling about it and what's, just what is your feedback to everybody else about that. And it's 80% off. I'm probably never going to do that. I definitely am never going to do that 80% off again, for sure. It was a massive gift. And it's so funny because I watch myself being triggered, like, oh my God, am I really giving away this much value for this price? And then I'm like, yeah, stop me, right? Because what's the belief there? Like, oh, then like there's stories like, oh, then, people are going to get upset about the expensive programs that they did before. And like, oh, I could have just done this one and blah, blah, blah. Like, no. That's entitlement. And I'm not playing into that game. People always get, when someone purchases something, they get what they wanted in that moment. It was in alignment and integrity. You don't then look later like, oh, I could have and should have. That's just lack of commitment. We need to be committed to what we're doing, the decisions you make. You always make the right decision, and we get committed. Like, when I make a decision, I'm committed to that. I don't then look later and be like, oh, how could it have been better for me? And I should have and could have, would have done this. That's a complete waste of time and energy. So if someone else decides to engage in that behavior, that's on them, and I hold them able to learn their lessons and clean that up on their own. That has nothing to do with me. When I feel a prompting to give a gift to my community, I'm going to back that and follow that, and I'm not going to listen to those scarcity voices or the like, oh, people might get mad. Like, people are messy. we're all human. We all get messy sometimes. Maybe people will be messy. Maybe people will be messy when you step forward into these things and when you start learning these concepts, and we just hold them as able to manage their own feelings and their own emotions around it, right? It really has nothing to do with us. Can you say more about your program? I hear you say, actually, I gotta look at my computer so I can read. Hold on, my computer's being silly. Yeah, so the program is, I don't know if Susan's on. Oh, Susan's saying she can't get on the live because Facebook is being screwy. I have so many people messaging me. One of my girlfriends went to look at one of my content and she hit it and it snoozed me. My team can't get on here right now. That's so weird. MandyPerry.com. Okay, so I put the link in the comments for you guys so you can check that out. I'm pinning it to the top so you have it. Basically, what you need to know about the group is I sat down for 3 hours and I looked at I built my business from the ground up, going from zero, like I was a girl making $400 a week for over 10 years, $400 a week. That's what I lived on. I was on welfare. I had, assisted insurance and stuff like that. I grew up in a very poor family, went through loads of trauma and stuff like that. So I really was coming from a deficit coming into this and had everything to learn. I knew nothing. I knew nothing about running a business. I knew nothing about any of it, right? So I sat down and I looked at from the day that I began my business until the day I closed 2 years later at 500K a year at running a global business, what were the biggest ahas and breakthroughs and lessons that I learned from mentors or from myself. I even sat down with my husband, soon to be ex-husband, and was like, hey, like, what were the things you remember me having like a big fit about, or like getting really freaked out about, or something that I had like huge breakthrough and ahas and that helped me to soar. And we like actually went through together and just like really got clear on what those things were. And those are what I'm teaching every day for 30 days. So I'm just literally in there. I do audio sometimes. If I feel like it's really valuable for you to rehear something over and over, I do it in audio so that you can pull that up on your iPhone, or, where you can store it on your phone, on your computer or whatever, so you can listen to it over and over. You don't actually even have to log into the membership. And then I also have worksheets if it's things that I know you actually need to recall into your brain. I teach you guys how to recall this, like how to use your brain. My background is neuroscience in high school, in college. So I understand the brain and how it works, NLP basic concepts. And like, I teach you guys how to, not only am I giving you the homework and doing it daily, but I'm doing it in a way where it's not just like massive stuff thrown at you. This is a process of this is like the highest level that I could ever have somebody do, right? So it's actually having you go in and I'm teaching you how to do it in a way where you retain this and you implement it, right? So for example, on day 4, I believe, I had them do a homework assignment that went and reiterated day 1, 2, and 3. And then day 4, they're going back and they're recalling it from their brain so that they're remembering it. And I had them do it in a way where I know this is going to like seep into their awareness. It's now in my subconscious. It's now in my memory. And so now it's going to be implemented in my life. And we do implementation. It's not about, because when you just take in mass amounts of information, y'all know this. I read and I absorb and webinars and all this stuff. And then like I do nothing and I fritz and I overwhelm and I have no idea what I'm doing. That's actually the brain protecting you, because it's taking in everything around. And so we have to be able to like hone it and focus on what matters to us. So our job is to actually like learn, implement, get results, learn, tweak, shift, go again, right? Like even with companies like, Facebook and software that have something called minimum viable product, right? Minimally viable product. And they put out something and then they get a result and then they look at it, tweak it, make it better, put it back out. I mean, this is how things become incredible and well seasoned and versed, right? So that process is in there as well. That's how I have my clients do things, because that's how we get the fastest results. That is how I've gotten accelerated results, right? It's not just about doing mass amounts of stuff and sticking it to the wall. It's very deliberate and very conscious and it's very calm and easy to do this loud level and amount of work and get epic results from it. It doesn't have to be frantic and chaotic at all. So yeah. That's part of it. Let me see if I can find you guys now. Facebook got something going on. It's a little bit glitchy. Mercury is on payback path. I did say to one of my friends, I said, I don't know what the hell's been going on this week. It's been crazy. And they were like, oh, it's Mercury retrograde. And I was like, maybe there is something to this Mercury retrograde. I don't know. Because it was a crazy ass week. Okay, now I can see the comments. Yeah, Taylor, it's amazeballs. I had breakthroughs the first 4 days. Do you do consult calls for this program? Definitely not, Kara. I gave it 80% off. I do consult calls, but only for my highest end clients, the Diamond Mastermind. And even then, usually we just chat through Messenger. Yeah, but you just go over to mandyperry.com. All the information is on that page. But honestly, okay, this is going to sound blunt, but I'm going to be blunt. Because I love you all. And this is how I roll. I do things bluntly. My audience knows that. If you're not like recognizing like the holy shit value by just what I said, then maybe it's not a fit for you, right? Someone who's gone from 0 to 500K in 2 years in this industry, having come from basically nothing, and 30 days of every massive breakthrough and like the most important breakthroughs and ahas that I had for 30 days of massive value for 80% off. That's it. Like that's all you should need to know to make a decision. Either that feels like a hell yes or no, right? That's just me being super blunt. So I feel like if it were me, there would be no sales page reading and stuff like that. Like that'd be all I needed to know. That's just like super blunt feedback. Of course I create the sales page and will answer any questions you guys have. But that is sort of like to me in my mind, the savvy people are going to recognize the wisdom or the value, not the wisdom. They're going to recognize the value of that, like from a landslide away, like far, far away. That's why I felt like, that's why I said, like, I felt like I did a bad job letting my audience know, like, hey, I really need to let them know again, like, hey, this is what you're actually getting in this group. And this is the price point for it, right? Like it's less than $500. That's insane. And I even have a payment plan, like a payment plan for, I think as low as $188. So yeah, it's definitely the tons and tons and tons of value. Does that make sense to you? Yes. Yes, the program 100% works for people that are not coaches. All the programs I do work for people that aren't coaches, unless it specifically states it's for coaches, like my Wealthy Coach program. That one is specifically for coaches. And even then I have people selling oils and stuff like that, and it works for them. But all of my programs are about committing. It's a process of committing to what you're actually doing and finally recognizing all the things that are stopping you from doing that. But then it's also getting clear what it is you're doing and then backing it up with your emotions, your behavior, your energy, and really truly just recognizing all the things that are in between. So basically anyone ahead of me who's gained success, who has a lifestyle that I want, has so much crap to teach me, right? So yeah, this 100% is not just for coaches. I would say my audience is probably 50-50 in my courses, 50% coaches and 50% lots of other things. Musicians, I have, people that are doing oils and downline type stuff like that. I have people who are things like copywriters and, building basically any kind of entrepreneur who's looking to, whether they are the product or they have a physical product, it's really the same process. I'd say it's an extra step for coaches. Coaches have to identify with themselves as the product and learn that they are the product, and they have to embrace that and learn to develop the worthiness to know that that is an incredible gift to the world, and to stop feeling like selling themselves is a bad thing and learn that it's actually an act of love. It's truly an act of love for us to create offers and opportunities for other people who are willing to show up and do the work, and to know how to explain it and say it to them in a way where they stop. Like, if we don't own who we are, they can't trust us, and they already don't trust themselves, and they need all the time, space, and energy that they can have freed up for them to just believe in themselves, let alone them also having to believe in us. Like, I'm a betting horse. That is what it is. Like, I know that people are super blessed and lucky to be part of my programs and part of my teaching because I'm a betting horse. That's just because I know my soul's worth. It has nothing to do with me being conceited about Mandy. It's like I understand my worth because that is an innate thing within me. And when my soul says act, I act. When my soul says no, I say no. I'm not perfect, but I consistently show up and back that up. And I have massive amounts of integrity, and my drive and purpose is to heal the world. What is more worthy than that? Like, why are you worthy? Because you decided that you are. Why are you enough? Because you decided that you are. Why are you good? I'm a good person because you decided you were good. In order to not be a good person, you have to actively decide I'm not a good person, right? Like, because then you would back that up. Like, these are the things that hold people back in such a massive way. So 100% is for other people who aren't coaches. Like, all the fields of entrepreneurship are 100% welcome. It's just the coaches do, when you are the product, it's an extra step. I'm just giving credit to the people who have an extra step to go. I get it. I know what that feels like. Oh, thanks, Laura. Janet, okay, y'all, listen, join this program. Yes, I do agree. I do feel like I could do a better job showing up for my people, letting them know how valuable this is. You're welcome, Kara. I work in a travel industry, just want to make sure that it will apply to my industry as well. Yeah, 100%, Isabella. It's not specific to an industry. This one's not even almost specific to an industry at all. Katie sent a message. If we join Happy and Wealthy now, how do we make up the extra days that we've missed so far? Are they videos, worksheets, or both? It's super easy to catch up. It's 5 days, and some of the lessons are quick. One of them's probably an hour, but they're a lot of fun and they're easy, and it's not like you have to understand one concept to get the next concept, right? So yeah, it's no big deal at all to catch up. And there's no like behind or catching up. You have this information forever. It's like 30 days. And what'll happen is, let's say in 6 months, you're going to go back, you're going to go in the membership, you're going to see all 30 days. And then what you end up doing is you end up looking at like, what am I struggling with the most right now? What is my pain point right now? And you look at one that resonates with that and you go back to that and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot. That changed my life for a while, but somehow I got away from it. I went off, I noticed that like we get off track a little bit. And it's like, we have to go back to that concept that had us have that massive breakthrough in the first place. And you'll have that indefinitely. Like these 30 powerful breakthrough lessons and how-tos will be there in the membership indefinitely. So, even if you just jumped right in where we are, it's totally fine. Whatever feels good, right? You can scan them and see like, this one feels like I need this one. It's totally fine. It's not like it has to compile on top of each other. These are complete standalone things, one in and of itself. And there's going to be some of them that absolutely change your life instantly, and other ones that will go in and you'll get a level of it, but you won't get the full level of it. And as you go and as you grow and as you implement these things and as you expand and as you get more wisdom around yourself and your company, your business, your purpose in your life, the impact that you want to leave on this world, the way you want to show up in your job, whatever it is, like as you become more seasoned and better, like you hear it again, you hear it at a new level, right? And only people that have success can identify with this, right? Like I get that concept, and it doesn't mean just success financially. I mean success in any area of your life. You get that, like I heard this once and like I did this and this, but then I heard it again and it was like, oh, I heard a whole new level of it. And then I heard it again and I heard a whole new level of it, because you're implementing it at every new level that you go to. So it's an incredible resource to be able to go back to over and over and over for sure. Thanks, Janet. That was super sweet. I hope that answers your question, Katie. Okay, so for those of you that are new to me, let me know. Leave a comment below. Let me know you're new to me. Hashtag replay. If you're on the replay, I'll definitely be watching to see any people who come in and have any questions or comments. Welcome to the new people that are jumping in right now today. I can't wait to get you to know you a little bit better in the group. I love being able to see everybody's breakthroughs and wins. I just get to know them as people. Definitely friendships are developed this way because it's an intimate tribe that way, as we do something like this, especially daily for 30 days like that. And if you're my people, just send me some hearts and love, because I love you. And also, if you feel like you have friends and people that could also benefit from this kind of work right here, feel free to share the video, and even the value in this video, right? Sharing the video is actually a huge help. My intention is just to reach people who need support with this kind of stuff, right? Awesome. Okay, so happy St. Patrick's Day. I love you guys. Have a fantastic day. I love you. Oh, thanks for all the hearts. I do love heart showers. Heart showers. I forgot to ask for them for a little while. Like, I love heart showers, and I used to always ask for them. Now I forget to ask. Now I'm asking. Awesome. All right, leave a comment below. I love you guys. Have a fantastic day.